The name is Suzus Nakagawa, a 46-year-old humble architect who works at a design firm. He has been married for 15 years and has 2 children. From a professional perspective, he lives a peaceful life without any worries. His beautiful children are growing up all the time. And he lives in a quiet town overlooking the Bay Bridge, in a house he designed himself. It should have been perfect. But his relationship with Kiyotaka suddenly became cold, as if he couldn't manage it. Our conversations became limited to business correspondence, and he can't remember having touched her for 7 years. Before he knew it, he was left with only his role as a father, and he was just following a precise yet emotional daily routine, like drawing the end of a blueprint. Sometimes, during meetings, there is a woman I unexpectedly think of. She was the woman who had been my mental lover since college. But she married my only best friend, Oria. She was a woman with an air of elegance and dignity, but at unexpected moments she exuded a sexiness that made me shudder. But when she started dating Kato, I couldn't say anything. All I could do was offer my best friend's happiness and, above all, her happiness, and offer my best wishes. For several years after that, our relationship continued in a strange way. Obuki and Keisukawa would work together as a family a few times a year, or go out after the kids were asleep. Our relationship was completely healthy and completely casual. I wore the mask of my best friend's clothes, and she wore the mask of her best friend's death. We pretended not to notice the true feelings that lay beneath those masks. At least until that day, my smartphone quietly vibrated at night. It was a short message from someone. I wonder if we can meet again, just the 2 of us. I woke up. Up until now, I had never met Irina alone. Kaido was always next to me, and Akari was next to me. Being alone was the absolute rule in our world. But this time, the message was different. It continued like this. Along the way, secretly, the moment I saw that question, my heart, which had stopped, jumped loudly and painfully, as if a graveyard had forced itself to work. Why was she inviting me now? And that this invitation would completely upend the blueprint of my life that I had carefully planned. At that time, I had no idea. The meeting place with Goda was a quiet jazz cafe on a limited time street. While the business people were having a meeting on a weekday, I was sitting deep in the sofa, feeling strangely tense. It had been a while since we had been alone together. That alone made my eyes water as if I was about to get close. The door opened and Yuna entered, and I instantly swore to Kobabda. She was wearing a simple navy dress. Her skirt stretched out to the waist and was gently curled, and even in Bachuka Castle, her transparency spoke volumes. She was the same as she was in college. No, the more she had fished, the more refined and beautiful she had become. Sorry, wait. Oh, no, I just got here too. As she said that, Idona made a pot on the tree opposite. Her sweet scent wafted faintly. This is the first time we've met like this, huh? Yuna said, looking at me with a slightly wicked look. That's right. And Kato is always here. As soon as I mentioned that name, Uchi's expression visibly changed. I took a sip of my coffee. Yuna, still holding the cup, was slightly lost in thought. Her long eyelashes were dangling their noses at the White House. Hey, Ryomoto. There was a small girl I remember from college. Am I in a bit of trouble right now? Did something happen? Uchi hesitated for a moment, then said in a quiet but clear voice, Kasheboha water. Kato might be cheating on me. I couldn't help but grab the cup. The sound of her holding it firmly made me irritated by the quiet jazz music playing in the store. Are you serious? Yeah. He's been coming home almost every day lately. And he's been making a lot of sudden business trips too. He also took his smartphone with him into the bath without any hesitation. There was also a time when his shirt smelled of an unfamiliar perfume. The answer was Dio. I was surprised, but somewhere in my heart I thought, I knew it. He had certainly been incredibly popular since long ago. But I wanted to believe that he had calmed down completely since marrying the perfect woman. So what do you want to do? I want to get evidence. But how can I do it by myself? Yuna looked me straight in the eye and said, please, I want you to find out with me. I found out about the incident. I want you to see with me what the ghost and monster are doing after my best friend betrayed me. It felt like a sign from God. Will you still be my best friend after all this time? Or will you go back to being the man you've always wanted to be? My father, who had died, waited patiently for my answer. And I didn't yet realize that following that path would drag my life into a place from which there was no going back. Have you ever had the experience of finding a girl who hasn't changed clothes in the most inappropriate place? One weekend, I ended up going to the trouble of finding someone who hasn't changed clothes in the most inappropriate place. Apparently, Kato had told Kato that he was going on a business trip to Osaka that weekend. However, in order to confirm his actions, Kato had secretly put a GPS under the seat of his car. With that data, we drove around the city of Yokohama. Yuna, who was receiving the call, seemed a little nervous. I couldn't calm down either. I shouldn't have helped with something like this. In my head, I was thinking about how scared I was, but when I saw Uchi sitting next to me, chewing her tongue anxiously, I couldn't refuse her request. I'm sorry, Riken. I asked you to do something like this. No, it's okay. It couldn't have been okay. The scent of Noda's water filled the empty car. Her gestures and expressions, which I usually just ignored, were now all too noticeable. I just stared straight ahead, not realizing how I felt. It seems this is where Kai was headed. Yuna showed Tani the screen of her smartphone. There, the pin was back on a tower apartment building facing the ocean in the Minato Mirai district in the center of Yokohama. It's not the same. Yeah. We carefully kept our distance and drove down the slope leading to the apartment building's underground parking lot. After a while, Kai's familiar black sedan disappeared into the ground as if it was being sucked in. Yuna and I both said different things. As I was wondering what to do, I suddenly noticed a woman coming out of the apartment building's entrance. She looked to be in her early 30s. She had a calm demeanor and a somewhat homely impression. She headed towards the elevator hall in the parking lot as if she was used to it. A few minutes later, the woman appeared in the lobby, crossing paths with Kai. And next to her, a little girl was holding onto Kai's hand tightly and laughing happily. Dad, can we go down today? Oh, of course. Kato touched the child's head with a gentle, fatherly expression that he would never show to Yuna. Why? Yuna's voice trembled excessively. This wasn't just a joke. Kato had another family. The whole weekend business trip was a lie. In the blueprint of his life, there was a space for another family that Irina didn't know about. In Irina's eyes, a bloodless despair deeper than anger floated in her eyes. She waved her sword slightly, as if she couldn't comprehend the scene before her. I couldn't find the words to say. When I finally said that, Irina nodded slightly but firmly. When I started the car, a suffocating silence fell in the car. The radio wasn't on, and all I could hear was the sound of the tires scraping against the road. After a while, Irina muttered, "Will you come with me today? I don't want to go home yet." Quote. I looked over at Irina. She put on a princess-like expression to hide the gag that was about to burst out. Please. After that, I couldn't bring myself to wave my hand. I drove the car to a quiet area with a good view of Yokohama Bay Bridge. This was a field where Kato, Irina, and I used to visit often when we were in college. But now it was just Yuna and I in this small car. When I turned off the engine, the inside of the car was filled with complete madness. The lights of the distant city were shining innumerably and coldly against her radiant profile. She's beautiful. Uchi stared blankly at the field. That's right. I was looking forward as well, but I naturally found myself drawn to her side. Her long eyelashes and slender waist. The white of her body looked strangely sexy against her black dress. Was I an idiot? Yuna said quietly. I had always believed in the strange answer. Maybe I wanted to believe it. But maybe I really did know somewhere in my heart. I should have realized it sooner, before it got to this. Those words were filled with regret for myself and a deep sense of regret for the answer. Right, you're not at fault. I may not understand all of your feelings, but at least you didn't do anything wrong. You're so kind. Riseto-kun smiled slightly at Yuna and turned his face towards her. Hey, what if I had made a different choice? A different choice? If I had chosen Ryu's-kun instead of Kai back then, my gulp rang. There's no point in thinking about that now. That's right. But I can't help but think about it. As she said that, Yuna gently leaned her head towards me. Please. Let me stay like this for a little while. The soft scent of caul licked at him. The tingling of her body, transmitted to Yoshiko, slowly but surely melted away the rationality he had spent years building up. Hey, Riseto-kun, a sweet and husky voice fell into my ears. I didn't say the rest today, and Irina gently touched my hand. The slightly cold Ka slowly grasped my hand. Just that made something inside me stand on end and feel like it was going to twitch. I couldn't shake her off. Yuna's land gently takes my place as if praying. We naturally close the distance as if drawn to each other. Richik-kun, Yuna's voice calling my name is strangely sweet and sad. The warmth of my head, entrusted to her, slowly but surely melts away the reason inside me. Sharing rejects me, and the moment I want to sleep like that, I can't think of anything else. I put my hand on her house and gently bring my face closer. The dragon instantly opens its eyes, but immediately closes its eyes to the tower, quietly accepting my sound. When the spring touches it, Irina's body trembles slightly. Hot soil leaks out. We have come to a point where we will never be apart again. It's no good, really. If it makes me feel small, should I stop? I can't stop. Doda's hand presses hard into my shirt. At that moment, the dam at the height of the axe closes. We seek each other deeply and overlap spring like that. Guda's body is completely pressed against mine. In the narrow space of the car, overlooked by the countless wild animals of Yokohama, we were simply boiling with uncontrollable desire, our white faces clearly shining in the light of the neighboring road. In the quiet night, we confirmed each other over and over again. There was no turning back. Every time Una's hoarse voice called out for my life, a sense of comfort and connection ran through my body. Before I knew how much time had passed, Irina had buried her face in my chest and was quietly raising a new seed like a child. What should I do? I can't go back now. When Una woke up, she smiled slyly but somehow happily. My sister couldn't say anything in response. I secretly began to cry, saying that I had to tell the truth about that day. At first, I had made up my mind never to do it again. But once you cross the church line, it's not easy to change it. We'll meet again. The night Sadayut visited me anxiously, I felt cold. From then on, Una would make time for us by making excuses, and we would wander around with each other. Sometimes we would meet up in the lounge of the Minato Marai Hotel and head straight there. We would often spend time in the car, just like that night. Uchi would always rely on God in that place. Ryosho-kun, it's been a long time since I've been desired by someone like this. It's been years since we've been married, and it's like we're just roommates. Her voice was always solemn. Those words became a convenient excuse for me. Koana can't turn anyone away, and she's deeply lonely. That's why I'm supporting her. But the reality is different. My sister has a family too. She has a son, a child, and a happy family with no problems in the world. And yet, whenever I was in danger, I would force myself to drown that terrible feeling in the sea of pleasure. Hey, rise and you. Una would bury her face in the water and say, I wish we could stay together like this forever. I was never able to answer those words. It's a fantasy that can't possibly come true. But I couldn't let it go that way. I held it in and gave up on her. I closed my eyes and stood quietly in my circle, feeling secure. These were the only moments we were allowed to be our true selves. Their path led to a place where there were no easy answers. If you've ever faced an impossible choice in your life, please share your experience in the comments. And please subscribe to the channel so that we can see their righteous ending. That night we were riding on the giant Ferris wheel, a symbol of Yokohama. As the gondola slowly rose, a world of jewels spread out before us. The company muttered to itself as it touched the glass. Yes, but my tree was praying much more beautifully next to her, illuminated by the light, than in the wilderness. Hey, Tobito-kun, what do you think of me? Suddenly, Ada said, when did you come to me? His voice was quiet, but the weight of his words changed the atmosphere in the cramped gondola. I care about you, that was my true feelings. But no more words came out. Yonai was silent for a while, but suddenly she looked straight into my face as if she were a hostess. Does that mean she likes girls? Her tower was as if it were directly supporting all the goals of my heart. From that moment on, I wanted to escape from the answer so much that I wanted to. I really do like her. I've liked Yuna since college. Even when she became my friend, those feelings continued to circulate like a small face in the mouth of my heart. I forced myself to accept it by wishing for her happiness. But the Yunai in front of me now wants that. She's already planning to end her relationship with Kato. Hey, Riseto-kun, Nai squeezes my hand tightly. I'm divorcing Kato. My heart leapt at those words. Are you serious? Yes, I'm ending Pomon. That's not family anymore. We'll just go back to being strangers. Yonai's determination seemed old. The audience slowly approached the climax. I desperately tried to suppress the words that came to my mind. So what do I do? Yuna asked, as if to answer, do I choose her? I have a family, children, and a family. Even though it's a relationship that can't be turned back from, can I throw everything away? Did she notice that I was hesitating to make a decision? She was quiet inside. But she kept asking cruel questions. What do you want, Rise? Something inside me shook at those words. Rise wants to be with me. Or do you want to end this relationship? The viewer stubbornly reached the point of reaching a conclusion. The perfect landscape of Yokohama spread out before me. It was as if I was descending into the perspective of God and looking at our tiny lives. I couldn't answer. Rise wants to be with me. Or do you want to end this relationship? I couldn't answer. Na continued quietly. You know, when I think about you, it really hurts. But I know you have a family. I know I can't take you away from you. Yuna's voice trailed off, and I was filled with laughter. But God can't pretend nothing ever happened. I could feel Irina's hand trembling as it clung between mine. Don't abandon me. That father of mine had forgotten the last bit of reason in me. Should I accept her as she is? Or, in the midst of the sweet scent of the audience slowly beginning to process, I was forced to make the heaviest and most difficult choice of my life. Saki was trembling slightly as she stared at my boat. I could tell with a loving feeling that the hand gripping my boat tightly was filled with a desperate desire not to let go. The words, "Don't abandon me," pierced deeply into the soft parts of my heart, both as a question. I closed my eyes as I pictured Saki. I wish the incident would stop like this. I wish the audience would continue to spin at this peak forever. I found myself thinking such impossible things. But reality is not so sweet. The gondola was steadily approaching the ground. I slowly opened my mouth, escaping her grasp, and spoke in my own cold voice. Oni has a family. I could feel Sachi's body trembling slightly. It was as painful for me to say those words as it was to cut myself with a knife. But that was the unshakable reality that I had designed and continue to live with even now. I truly care about Saki. But I can't continue this relationship any longer. Saki slowly raised her face as I spoke. The tower that had drunk was staring at her. As if she couldn't believe it. I understand. Sachi tried to stay still, but her voice trembled in the distance. I knew you had important people too. But I still wanted to be with you. I couldn't say anything. The gondola arrived at the surface. As the door opened, the sound of the war outside wafted in, announcing the arrival of a delicate world. Saki gently grasped my hand. Hey, can you hold me one last time? T gathered her energy and drew Saki closer. Her body temperature, which she held tightly, felt as if it would be burned into my chest forever, along with her scent. Thank you, you. Sachi's voice trembled slightly. After a while, Sachi slowly separated from that circle. I should probably go home soon. Saki got off the gondola quietly, looking lonely but with a bird and a smile on her face. Goodbye, Rito-kun. She walked off into the street without looking back once. All I could do was watch her small back from inside the gondola. Only the scent of arenas still lingered in the car. I put my hands on the steering wheel and exhaled deeply and loudly. This was the only thing I could do. This was the right choice. Telling myself this, I quietly started the car into the night air of Yokohama. After that, I lost all contact with Arena. It's not that I lost touch with her. We didn't say anything to each other, and that became the dark curtain between us. I returned to my family as if nothing had happened. I blended into the daily life of my carefree children with a gentle face that hadn't changed at all. I went to work in the morning and came home with a fresh face. I listened to the children's stories and went out with my family on the weekends. My life was supposed to be the same. But at random moments, I remembered. At night, when I drink a beer alone on the sofa in the living room, or when I drive across the Bay Bridge, Yuna's voice that night, her expression, and the warmth of Kiyoshi's face come back to me vividly in the back of my mind. Don't leave me. Could I have protected her back then? Or was I just running away from having my own life ruined? I have a family. Yes, I have children, and there were things I couldn't throw away. So that choice must have been the right one. This is for the best. I will continue to tell myself and my children that over and over again. But deep down, I am sure that I am burdened with a heavy burden of regret for that decision. Trapped in the beautiful bond of having a family that I had designed for myself, I was unable to protect the one woman who had relied on me. I wonder if Oku is now facing that cruel reality all by herself. I pretend not to know anything, and I continue to live my life as an ordinary man in this city of Yokohama. But the only regret that remains deep in my heart, and the way I saw baseball from that spectator's perspective, will surely not last. If you had to choose between love and responsibility, what would you do? Was the choice between the two theories correct? If his story left an impression on you, please like and subscribe to the channel. And please let me know your thoughts in the comments.